Hi, hello. I just thought I would give you a check-in to see how things are going with our house hunt. And to be honest, it's gone nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. Last house we looked at, there was 68 applications. Let that sink in. 68 applications to view the property. Of that, we were lucky. We got in to view the property. From that 68 applications, nine families were chosen. Basically, I know there were families because when we got there were queues outside, and yet I had applied for this property within minutes of it going onto the system. I'd applied to view. And this was a really nice property. It was kind of more than we wanted to pay, but because of the situation that we're in, we're having to look at more expensive properties because obviously I've got older children, and some of the properties in my local area are these ones with the two back rooms joining together, and the smallest room's considered too small for my daughter. That's not us saying it, that is government saying it, basically. And a lot of landlords are worried about overcrowding, and so in situations like this, they're only taking like a maximum of 4 people. And we're a family of 5. So we're having to look at slightly bigger modern houses and look at slightly higher rents than what we really want to pay. And as I say, there must be a lot of people in our situation because, as I say, 68 people applied for this house. We were viewing. 9 families got to view, and we were one of those families. We loved the house. It would have been perfect for us. It would have been safe for my son, my youngest son. And we put our application in. We spent hours going over our paperwork, filling in the referencing details, because they wanted all that done before they put us forward for application. All that time and energy and effort. When you're caring also for not one but 2, supporting 2 autistic people in your family, or diagnosed, let's put it that way, 2 diagnosed people in my family, it's hard work. It's exhausting. I am pretty emotionally exhausted every time. I think this is the second time we've got to the stage where we've put in documents, and this is your whole life you're putting on. You're having to put in your financial information, your family information, your everything, and that all gets put in for reference and stuff, and you're being judged on that, and got turned down anyway. It's not just the case of just going to view a house and getting turned down or whatever. It's the energy it takes to do all the stuff that goes with it. And every time you get turned down, you just feel like, I know it's not personal. I would hope it's not personal. It is scary, I just want a secure home for my family. And we're competing with so many other people who are in the same boat. The letting agent was saying as he was showing us round, and other letting agents said this. They said they're being inundated with families who are all on notice to quit their homes. You know, I've never seen anything like it. When I turned up to that house and there were 3 families in front of us queuing to go in and have a look. I've never seen anything like it. You know, what's going on? What the council don't seem to be doing anything. They're still not putting us on the system to bid on properties. And I've heard through other people that they tell you to that you should be bidding, but they don't put you on until you're actually homeless. And that there was a family who were had to rent a caravan out for 2 weeks before the council even helped them. You know, what is going on? And then, like, we were warned when we first had to register as threatened with homelessness. We were warned that, and I probably said this before, so whatever, but there's nothing temporary. There's no temporary accommodation in Lowestoft, and so we could end up in Colchester, Norwich, Ipswich, Felixstowe. You know, miles away from my husband's work, and it could put his job in jeopardy. In fact, a person at my husband's work said that they were put in temporary accommodation in Norwich. They had no car, and because of the shifts are 6 in the morning till 6 at night, or 6 at night till 6 in the morning, they couldn't get public transport to get to work on time. And so they had the choice of, because apparently in temporary accommodation you're supposed to spend every night in there, they had the choice of putting their temporary accommodation in jeopardy, which is what happened, and sleeping on somebody's sofa, or staying in their property and losing their job. You shouldn't have to choose between a home and a job. It's not on. It's just absolutely ridiculous. You know, something should have been put in place for this interim. It wasn't. I feel very frustrated. And, you know, we've got nothing against the landlord. If they want to sell up, that's fine. You know, we just want a new home. We want a home to move to. We want somewhere to move to keep my little boy safe. You know, that's all we're asking for. But now there's, as I say, there's lots of new rules about overcrowding, and so that's making things a little bit more complicated. As before, when we moved down here, I had 2 children at the time, and those little houses would have been fine. Those little houses are fine for us now, because normally the bigger second bedroom is a double, and I can fit the 2 boys in there. And also, my older son and daughter are going to be going to university, so it's only really going to be 3 of us in the house anyway. But because on paper there's 5 of us, and I have to provide them being students, they have to have a home address as well. I can't kick them out. They have to have a home address. I don't want to kick them out, because the chances are, when they finish university, they're going to have to get jobs. And I've said to them, you know, if you end up living locally and you've got jobs, then, you know, if you contribute, which they'd have to anyway because they'd be over 18 and they'd have to go on a tenancy as an adult, if you contribute to the household, then we could get a bigger place, you know. And, you know, if they both had jobs, I could get a 4-bedroom house. And then they would be entitled, if they're paying rent, you know, or contributing to the tenants, contributing to the rent, which they would have to, then everything would work, you know. But they've got to go to uni to get jobs or to have a better chance of getting a job. But there we go. That's where we are at the moment. Nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. And I am fast losing hope. I'm trying not to, and I'm trying not to get emotional again. You know, still got to fight the good fight and hope the good hope and manifest like crazy. Even hopefully you're not in the same position as us, but if you are, I feel you, I see you, hugs. All that really remains to be said is, take care, look after yourselves. Mind how you go.